Hello and welcome to Wiki Reads. Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr., born October 8, 1993, is an American professional stock car racing driver. He competes full-time in the NASCAR Cup Series, driving the number 43 Chevrolet Camaro ZL 11 E for Richard Petty Motorsports. Previously, Wallace was signed as a development driver for Joe Gibbs Racing, where Wallace competed in the Camping World Truck Series, driving the number 54 Toyota Tundra for Kyle Busch Motorsports. He also raced in the Xfinity Series, driving the number 6 Ford Mustang of Roush Fenway Racing, from 2015 to mid-2017. Wallace is noted for being one of the most successful African-American drivers in the history of NASCAR. Wallace was born in Mobile, Alabama, and raised in the city of Concord, North Carolina, where he attended Northwest Cabarrus High School. Born to a black mother and white father, Wallace is the son of Darrell Wallace Sr. and Desiree Wallace. His father is the owner of an industrial cleaning company, and his mother is a social worker who ran track at the University of Tennessee. Wallace started racing in the Bandolero and Legends Car Racing Series, as well as local late model events, at the age of 9. In 2005, he won 35 of the Bandolero Series' 48 races held that year. In 2008 he became the youngest driver to win at Franklin County Speedway in Virginia. In 2017, Wallace voiced the character Bubba Wheelhouse in the 2017 Pixar film Cars 3. Leading up to the 2018 Daytona 500, Wallace starred in the Facebook Watch series Behind the Wall, Bubba Wallace. Reaction to the Black Lives Matter movement. After the death of George Floyd in May 2020 at the hands of police officers in Minneapolis, Wallace began to speak up about the issue of abuse of African Americans by the police, becoming the face of stock car racing's involvement in the Black Lives Matter movement. On that following June 8, he called on NASCAR to mandate the banning of displays of the Confederate flag, which it had tried unsuccessfully in 2015 to request of its fans. On June 10, such a ban was announced by the association. For the 2020 Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500 at Martinsville, Wallace ran a special paint scheme to honor Black Lives Matter. The car featured an illustration of black and white hands interlocking together on the hood of the car, the hashtag Black Lives Matter on the side, and the phrase compassion, love, understanding on both the hood and the back bumper. Richard Petty, owner of Richard Petty Motorsports, contributed to the livery by adding a peace symbol on the rear quarter panel of the car that features hands of all colors circling inside the peace symbol. The livery was made after Richard Petty Motorsports failed to secure a primary sponsorship for the race. The team later suggested the idea to Wallace to run an all-black car to honor the movement. Wallace finished 11th after securing top 10 finishes in both stages, his career best at Martinsville in the Cup Series. Noose investigation. On June 21, a member of Wallace's team reported to NASCAR that a noose had been placed in Wallace's garage stall at Talladega Superspeedway, which NASCAR President Steve Phelps relayed to Wallace in the evening. 78. The organization condemned the act, calling it heinous and saying they would be consulting with law enforcement. Wallace stated that he was incredibly saddened by the painful reminder of how much further we have to go as a society and how persistent we must be in the fight against racism, but also praising his fellow drivers that are driving real change and championing a community that is accepting and welcoming of everyone. Prior to the Geico 500 held the next day, the drivers in the race and their crews pushed Wallace's car to the front of pit road in a show of solidarity. The gesture had been proposed by fellow drivers Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick. On June 25, NASCAR released a photo of the noose taken by security. In a teleconference later that day, Phelps explained NASCAR had inspected every garage at the sanctioning body's 29 tracks, with 11 garages containing a pull-down rope but only Wallace's being tied into a noose. Although the individual responsible was unidentified, Phelps added sensitivity and unconscious bias training would be mandated for its personnel and that Bubba Wallace and the 43 team had nothing to do with this. 2 weeks after the Geico 500, on July 6, United States President Donald Trump tweeted for Wallace to apologize for the investigation, branding it a hoax while adding it in NASCAR's Confederate flag ban has caused lowest ratings ever. Trump's ratings claim was refuted by Fox Sports Executive Vice President Michael Mulvihill, who noted they had gone up by 8% since the 2020 season resumed in May, while Wallace receives support from figures like Johnson, driver Tyler Reddick, and basketball player LeBron James. Later in the day, Beats Electronics announced it had signed Wallace to an endorsement deal, noting the company had intended to do so later in the week but hate cannot win the day.